Time moves differently for a cat. To us they seem eternal. The same playful leap, the same piercing eyes, the same soft purr that carried us through nights and storms. But the truth is crueler. As the years pass, something begins to shift. At first it's subtle, hidden in the silence, masked by instinct. And then one day you notice it, a new behavior, small but unmistakable, a signal that your cat is changing. It isn't about play, it isn't about hunger. It's something deeper, something heartbreaking. Because when cats age, they begin to show you a side of themselves they kept hidden all their lives, a sign of fragility, of trust, of goodbye. And if you don't understand what it means, you'll miss the most important message they will ever send you. The Catfather warns you, don't turn away from this truth. Watch closely, because when your cat begins to do this, it's not random. It's their way of preparing you for the final chapter of the bond you share. Capisce? The Catfather never lies about loyalty, and loyalty does not escape time. It doesn't happen all at once. Aging is not an explosion, but a whisper. Your cat does not suddenly grow old overnight. They carry it slowly, like a secret written into their bones, revealed piece by piece. And unless you know how to see it, you'll miss the message hidden in plain sight. The first sign is routine. Cats are creatures of ritual, moving through the house as if following a map written into memory. Young cats leap to windowsills, stalk shadows, dash from room to room with energy that feels endless. But as time weighs heavier, the map shrinks, distances shorten. The windowsill is abandoned for the chair for the rug for a single corner where they begin to anchor themselves. What looks like laziness is not apathy, it is adaptation. They are rearranging their kingdom to fit the strength that remains. Sleep deepens too. Cats already sleep more hours than almost any other creature, but the sleep of the old is different. It is heavier, longer, interrupted by fewer bursts of play. You notice they wake slower, their eyes clouded with a haze of time. They no longer patrol the house at night with the same sharp vigilance. The world has grown quieter to them, the rhythm slower, the need to conserve stronger. Sleep is no longer just rest, it is refuge. Then comes the change in voice. Meows grow softer, less frequent, sometimes breaking mid-sound like an echo fading in an empty room. It is not weakness alone, it is choice. Older cats speak less because they conserve energy, because they no longer need to cry as loudly to be heard. They trust you will hear them, even when their voice falters. It is the sound of reliance, of vulnerability revealed in tone. Grooming shifts as well. The perfect immaculate coat that once shone under the light begins to lose its polish. Joints ache. The flexibility that allowed them to twist and reach every inch of fur begins to fail. You see patches of roughness, tufts unkempt, fur dulling. To most it looks careless. To those who understand, it is confession. I cannot reach the same places anymore. Will you help me? And so the cat that once demanded independence begins to lean on you for care they cannot provide themselves. You notice the stairs too. Once a playground of leaps and dashes, now a mountain. They hesitate at the base, calculate with eyes that once would not have questioned. Sometimes they climb, slowly, cautiously. Other times they turn away, abandoning the height they once conquered. Each step is no longer automatic. Each climb is a battle, and the house reshapes itself again, shrinking their world floor by floor. Even their play changes. The furious chase of the red dot, the lightning strike at the dangling feather, the hours of stalking imaginary prey, they fade. In their place comes stillness, short bursts of paw swipes, slow batting at toys that used to ignite frenzy. The hunter remains, but muted. The instinct is alive, but the body is tired. And in that difference lies the truth of aging. The spirit is willing, the flesh whispers no, but perhaps the most heartbreaking shift is the gaze. The eyes that once burned with sharpness soften. They linger longer on you, hold you in silence. There is less distraction, less darting to shadows and sounds. The focus tightens, narrows, until it rests almost entirely on the one constant they trust. That gaze says what their failing body cannot. I need you now more than ever. Time leaves its fingerprints everywhere, in sleep, in sound, in fur, in play. The signs arrive one by one, then all at once, until you can no longer pretend your eternal kitten is untouched by years. They are not simply growing old. They are speaking to you in the only language they have, a language of slowing, softening, surrendering. And if you ignore it, if you dismiss it as just tired or just moody, you miss the chance to answer. Because every subtle change is not just symptom, it is signal. A quiet plea for recognition, for patience, for care. The Catfather tells it straight. When a soldier lowers his sword, the boss does not mock him. He lifts him, honors him, and protects him until the end. Your cat deserves no less. With time, even the strongest armor begins to crack. Your cat, once silent predator, once fluid hunter, begins to reveal vulnerabilities they have hidden their entire life. Cats are masters of disguise. Instinct tells them never to show weakness, never to betray pain. In the wild, limping is death, slowness is target, fragility is invitation. So for years, even under your roof, they mask it. But age has no mercy, and eventually the mask slips. The first cracks appear in their joints. You hear it in hesitation, see it in the pause before the leap, the stumble after landing. Arthritis creeps in quietly, a thief in the night. The cartilage that once cushioned their movements begins to wear thin, bones grinding against bones. They do not scream, they do not cry, they simply move less, avoid the climbs they once owned, choose the floor over the windowsill. And in that choice they are telling you, I can no longer carry the weight of the world alone. Their vision softens next. The eyes that once glowed like lanterns in the dark begin to cloud. Pupils react slower. Light stings harsher. They misjudge distance, swat at toys just out of reach, bump into shadows where doorframes stand. To the untrained human it looks clumsy, even silly. To those who see, it is heartbreaking. The sentinel of the night, the guardian of shadows, losing clarity in the very weapon that defined them. Hearing fades, too. The once invisible guardian who detected the softest creak, the faintest mouse, the whisper of movement at midnight, begins to miss cues. You call their name, and they do not turn. You shake food in the bowl, and they hesitate. Their ears twitch slower, their head lifts late. To lose sound is to lose a piece of their vigilance, and yet they adapt. They turn to you for signals, watching your face more closely, reading your body for meaning. Instinct turns into reliance. They no longer monitor the world alone. They trust you to be their ears. The body thins or thickens in strange and uneven ways. Metabolism slows, appetite wanes or surges unpredictably. Muscles shrink, fat pads shift, once sleek bodies sag with time. You run your hand down their spine, and the bones are sharper than you remember. Or perhaps the opposite. Their once lithe form grows heavy, sluggish, burdened by years of slowed burning. Every touch is reminder that time rewrites flesh without permission. Even the coat betrays them. Once glossy fur dulls, grows brittle, mats more easily. Grooming, once a perfect ritual of precision, falters, not always out of choice, but because stiffness and pain steal the grace that once allowed tongue to reach every corner. Bald patches bloom, dandruff dusts their back. It looks small, cosmetic, but to the cat, it is humiliation. A predator unkempt is a predator undone. When they lean against you, when they let you brush the places they can no longer reach, they are not simply tolerating care, they are surrendering pride. That surrender is not weakness, it is ultimate trust, and yet even with the cracks they endure. Cats are built of silence and strength. They carry pain with dignity, fight frailty with ritual. But the signs are there if you listen. The Catfather explains it with steel in his voice. Armor breaks, weapons dull, but loyalty does not fade. When the soldier cannot lift his sword, the boss lifts it for him. That is your role now, to see the cracks, to honor them, to carry the weight your cat can no longer bear. Because aging is not just decline, it is confession. Every limp, every stumble, every softer gaze is your cat whispering the truth they spent years hiding. I cannot do this alone anymore. And when you answer that confession with care, you turn frailty into strength. You transform the cracks in the armor into proof of an unbreakable bond. Aging doesn't only rewrite the body, it rewrites the bond. The relationship you built over years begins to change its shape, shifting into something quieter, deeper, heavier with meaning. The games fade, the leaps vanish, the wild bursts of youth dissolve, and what remains is raw trust. A trust so complete it can only exist in the twilight of life. In youth your cat's love was hidden in play. They chased, they pounced, they tested boundaries. They needed you, but they also challenged you. Their independence was fire, their loyalty disguised by mischief. With age, that independence begins to soften. The games stop being about victory and start being about presence. They no longer play to conquer, they play to connect. Even the light tap of a paw against your hand, the slow batting of a toy, is less about the toy itself and more about you. It's their way of saying, I may not leap anymore, but I still want you near. Affection shifts too. Where once they curled by the window or stretched far from reach, now they move closer. They seek your warmth, your lap, your bed. The bond tightens physically as their body weakens. It is not clinginess, it is reliance. They once guarded the house, now they ask you to guard them. The predator has chosen to place their vulnerability in your hands. That is not small, that is sacred. Even communication changes. Young cats meow for attention, cry for food, demand play. Older cats speak less but look more. Their eyes follow you across the room, their silence louder than words. They don't need to speak, because the bond has matured into something unspoken. They trust that you will understand without sound, and when they do meow, it carries weight. A single call in the night, softer than before, may mean more than a dozen cries of youth. It is not noise, it is prayer. Purring too evolves. Once constant, it becomes rarer, reserved, but when it comes, it is heavier. They purr not just when happy, but when close to you, when comfort is needed, when pain is near. Studies show that purring can serve as self-healing, vibration that reduces pain, lowers stress, even promotes bone strength. In age, the purr becomes both confession and cure. When they press against you and hum, they are not just soothing themselves. They are asking you to be part of the healing. And then there is the gaze. It lengthens, deepens, grows almost haunting. Young cats glance and dart away, distracted by shadows and sounds. Older cats hold the gaze, locking onto you as if memorizing. And perhaps they are. That stare, heavy with silence, is their way of engraving you into memory, of holding on to the one constant they know will outlast the body that is failing them. To ignore it is mistake. To meet it is ritual. It is their final way of saying, I see you, I choose you, until the end. The Catfather puts it in iron words. When the soldier can no longer fight, his loyalty sharpens into silence. He no longer proves with action. He proves with trust. That is the shifting bond of an aging cat. Less noise, less play, less fire, more silence, more closeness, more unshakable reliance. Aging does not erase love. It distills it. It burns away distraction until only truth remains. And that truth is this: your cat has chosen you above all else. In the twilight of their life, they place everything in your hands, their safety, their comfort, their dignity. It is the heaviest crown you will ever wear, and the most important one you must never drop. Every bond has a beginning, and every bond has an end. What tears the heart is not that cats age, but that they never tell you outright when the twilight has arrived. They do not announce it. They do not prepare you with words. Instead, they leave you signs, subtle, heartbreaking gestures that carry the weight of farewell. These are not weaknesses. They are gifts, the final offering from a creature who has spent its life guarding you, testing you, trusting you. One of these gifts is proximity. As your cat grows older, they stop roaming, stop patrolling, stop scattering themselves across the house. Instead, they draw closer. They follow you from room to room, not for food, not for play, but for presence. They curl against you more often, press into your side, seek your lap even if their joints ache climbing onto it. It is their way of saying, my world is shrinking, but what remains is you, and that is enough. Another gift is stillness. Youth was chaos, sudden leaps, midnight charges, the thunder of paws across tile. Age replaces chaos with silence. The sudden movements fade, replaced by long pauses, extended rests, quiet hours where they simply watch. Many mistake this stillness for sadness. In truth, it is ritual. The predator lays down his weapons, not because he has lost, but because he has chosen peace, and in that peace, he offers you the honor of his final years. The gaze, too, sharpens into legacy. Where once it was curious, darting mischievous, now it lingers, holding you as if trying to memorize every line of your face. Scientists call it recognition. The Catfather calls it engraving. They are not simply looking at you, they are etching you into their soul, ensuring that the bond you shared carries forward, even when their body can no longer walk beside you. Then comes the surrender of pride. Cats live for dignity. They mask pain, hide weakness, demand independence. But as age advances, they lower the mask. They allow you to brush the fur they can no longer reach, clean the eyes that cloud with time, carry them upstairs their legs refuse to climb. It is not defeat, it is offering. In letting you care for them, they give you the greatest gift a predator can offer, the chance to guard the guardian, and perhaps the heaviest gift of all is their presence in your darkest moments. It seems cruel, but it is true. Older cats often grow more attentive to their humans, hovering during sickness, watching during sadness, pressing close when the air feels heavy. They know time is short, and they choose to spend what remains not protecting themselves, but protecting you. Their last mission is not survival, it is love. The Catfather speaks it like law. A soldier's final act is not to fight for himself, but to ensure the boss never falls alone. That is what your aging cat does for you. Even as their body fails, their loyalty sharpens. They remain until the very end. Not because they must, but because they choose to. And so the signs of age, the slowed steps, the heavier sleep, the softened voice, the longer gaze, are not curses. They are messages. They are proof that your cat has entrusted you with their final chapter. They are asking you to carry them with dignity, to honor the bond, to return the loyalty they gave you all their life. Do not turn away from these signs. Do not dismiss them as just old age. They are the final language of devotion, the last whispers of a predator who has spent years watching, guarding, and choosing you. And when you answer with patience, with care, with love, you give them the only thing they have ever wanted, to end their story in loyalty, not in loneliness. Capisce? The Catfather never lies about loyalty, and loyalty does not escape time. Protect it until the last breath, and you will carry the bond beyond the silence of years.